Hey, good morning and welcome to Living Marriage, Chapter 7. Um, it's titled The Secret of Success. As he starts off, after having clarified that the success of a couple's intimacy is determined by the extent that it allows them to achieve a higher state of unity, let's address one factor which can interfere with this lofty goal. The problem is the nature of men and women are extremely different in every way, and the topic of intimacy is no exception. Since even a small lack of clarity in this fundamental topic, and it is to lead the husband to create a rebellious wife, which is forbidden to be together with a rebellious wife, meaning a wife who says, okay, you'll be together, but I really don't want it, right? Let's carefully examine how the wisdom of the Torah teaches us how this topic must be approached. He says there are four fundamental differences in man and woman in the relationship to marital intimacy. And that's what this chapter talks about. The first difference, he says, is that a woman is not completed, right? She has her psulim, she has her hymen, she hasn't been together uh, premaritally with anybody. So she's a virgin, and her body is not complete till the man completes her. The Gemara says in Mesachas Sanhedrin, Al Isha Amar Isha Shkasech, uh, Amar of Shmuel Bar Unya, Isha Golem he. She's an incomplete kli. Ena Kores is bris Misha Asa Kli Shemer Kbolai Chasei Hashem Tzvah Shmuel Rashi Golem and Kodesh Nivla Golem. Kli Shalom Nigmar Kari Golem. It's considered to be an unfinished utensil, right? The man has to penetrate and sever the hymen, and then she's a completed vessel. So um, he's not talking about it so much from the physical aspect, but really what this chapter deals with is that to women, uh, it takes time for them to be ready for marital intimacy. Here, in this first example, he's talking about the first time that a man and wife are together. If they're both virgins, it's the first time for both of them after the night of the wedding, which is often the case in Haredi circles, which this book is really meant for, ultra-Orthodox circles. And in the non-Jewish world, it's not true, so most of this chapter doesn't really apply. But assuming it's the first time for both of them, so therefore the man has no problem being together. I mean, men walk in the street, they're dreaming of being together with every woman, at least an attractive woman. And women, even though, yes, they want intimacy, like he brings from Parshas Bereshis, one of the klolos, one of the curses that woman has, a woman will desire her husband, and Rashi says over there, Tashmish, she wants to have intimacy with him. Yes, a woman has desire, strong desire for intimacy, more so than a man, if you didn't know that. A woman really would want to be intimate with her husband basically all the time, every night, as long as he has a good marriage and she likes her husband. But at the beginning, the first night, they're very delicate. Women are very delicate, not relating to intimacy, not related to the front world. If you want to pick up a woman, if you want to, to go to a bar or something like that, and you want to, people talk about pickup lines. How do you get a woman to get her phone number? I'm not an expert in this. I don't do this, but from what I hear is that basically, from I'm not gonna say where I know these sources from, but just be nice to the girl. Hi, nice to meet you. My name so and so. What's your name? Where are you from? When you approach a woman, you think you got to be a man. And you got to talk about how beautiful she is, how attractive she is. You know, I can't stop thinking about you. Don't say that. Just be nice, be delicate. When you meet a woman, even though women do not like men who are overly nice, but when you first meet a woman, they're delicate, they're raw. You have to treat them with niceties. What's your name? Where are you from? Basic things, you know. Then you can show the strength of your character, but it has to be a delicate opening, and the first night is no different. And um, people can have trauma. Women, men also to a certain extent, but a lot of women can have a certain sense of trauma uh, sexually for the rest of their lives, depending on how the first night goes. Now, I know this sounds a bit crazy to think about, and a lot of pressure on a new chassan who barely even talks to women, and then he goes on 3 dates, and they talk 3 times on the phone, and they get married, and he doesn't know whether to hold her hand after the chuppah or not, because what his rabbi told him, whether he's not sure if he should hold her hand. And they have the yuchah room, whatever goes on in the yuchah room probably very awkward and uncomfortable. Um, you're not just supposed to give your wife a pearl necklace. And so the point is that you have to be. It's a very important the first night. I mean, that's what she remembers for the rest of her life, and because it's so important, you got to put planning in this and preparation. I'll tell you what you got to do. It's not so complicated. You just have to remember that a woman is very delicate, especially a frum girl who hasn't been exposed to men and her body's never been touched by a man. Um, you have to be very delicate, and you have to. I heard a story um, about a Haredi man. The first night of the marriage, he just I don't know where he had all his knowledge from, all the different the different levels of intimacy in the bedroom and different things to try to create enjoyment for the man and for the woman. There's a lot of wisdom in this, a lot more than you think. It's probably one of the deepest, most intricate and complicated areas of life, but 99% of it is not talked about, at least in the public forum, or even the semi-private forum. So you have to be extremely delicate with your wife, and this guy did everything. It was like a 6 hour encounter from the time he got home from the wedding till the next morning. I don't think he slept at all, and then the shower was at 9 o'clock. um, he did everything and anything to his wife, and his wife was traumatized. That's what I heard, a first-hand account I heard. It was people I know. She was shocked. She was, and she probably it suffers PSTD, post stress trauma, whatever, PTSD, post trauma stress disorder. She's probably traumatized the rest of her life because a woman is very vulnerable and she's very delicate. And the first night to do all these things to her, she's not going to enjoy it. First of all, it physically hurts to break the hymen for the woman, and second of all, they have to be true to the delicacy because they're not ready to just, you know, be together with a man. A man is ready to jump on a woman, but a woman is not like that at all. And this is true what he's saying over here. So my recommendation is, have a plan, you know, do everything very slowly and carefully. You don't have to ask her permission because that's sort of unmanly and womanly, but you should be the one leading. The man always should be the one leading in the bedroom. The woman, as she gets more used to the husband, she'll get more into it, excited. But usually the first night in the firm world, she's going to lay there. She's not going to do anything. I know some chassan teachers, college teachers tell the woman they have to dress up nicely, wear fancy lingerie. I don't think anyone's ready for that at that point, especially from the firm world. Um, just do it in a very nice way, and it should be adequate foreplay before kissing, talking, slowly kissing, hugging, caressing, and it shouldn't be, I don't think, more than an hour, somewhere between a half an hour and an hour. The whole experience should be. It's your first experience. It shouldn't be too short. I mean, she could be traumatized too much if you just. She'll be traumatized a lot also if you just go in and after 2 minutes try to penetrate, then and end it after 2 minutes. That is also a terrible thing. That also will cause her to be traumatized. She'll feel cheap and violated, especially the first night. She'll definitely feel cheap and violated. So she'll put planning into it. Be very delicate, gentle. The man should lead, but in a delicate way, especially the first night. And for the first half a year of marriage, it should be like that also. So the woman starts feeling more comfortable exposing herself to the man. And you can see when the woman starts to be more active in the relationship, it means she's ready for more action from you. Um, and to be a little rougher, whenever, not rough, you shouldn't hurt the woman, but women actually do like it when men are a little rough in the bedroom, not hurting them, but to, like suck a woman's neck or something like that, or to bite softly, pull on a hair. These things women like, but only after you've been together for a while and you're familiar with each other and she feels comfortable in the bedroom. The second difference, he says, to me, all these differences are really the same thing. He says that every time you're together with your wife, you have to matthias her, meaning you have to verbally and also through your actions, kissing, hugging, caressing, you have to do it in a way where you bring out her desire. He brings from wearing suvos, where it says, Zegis from the The Yetzer, desire for being together, for a man is outside. Literally means his genitals are outside. Is that Yisra Bifnim? Now, a woman's genitals also are on the outside. However, her actually the delicate spot, the clitoris, which we'll talk about, which is the upper part of the vulva. Some people get confused and think that the woman's primary excitement is from the hole, the vagina, the hole. That's not where her primary excitement comes. She will not be satisfied if you just penetrate. Even if you do adequate foreplay before and just penetrate, we'll talk about this in a second. You have to actually stimulate the clitoris, and we'll talk about providing an orgasm for your wife also in a second. So, our clitoris is actually inside the vulva, and you have to find it. Let the woman show you where it is. I don't know if you should explore this on the first night of your marriage, but early on in the marriage, you should know that the woman has this part. Sometimes she'll tell you, sometimes she won't. You should know as a man that she has this part, and I hope Chassan teachers teach this. I don't know. Maybe I'll be the Chassan teacher for the whole world, because these are things I wasn't taught this, unfortunately, and it's a very sad thing that I wasn't taught this. I wasn't taught about orgasm, and also, I think it was purposely. If it's something that the person wanted to tell me, they would have told me, because it's so important. Obviously, there are some I did read after I got married. There are some certain svarim that say it's an isser to perform an orgasm for your wife, because hevel, it's pleasure for no purpose. Stupid. If they made up this isser in the Torah, that is such an essential need for a woman. It's very sad that there are certain svarim that say this, and I would say about 50% of from chassan teachers purposely don't teach this, leave this out, because they feel it's the wrong thing. I personally believe, I don't know the stats. I would love to conduct a poll and people honestly tell me whether the wife is provided with an orgasm at all, or on what basis, once a week, every time they're together. I would love to know, but I would ascertain that most women, or at least half of the women, don't get this on a regular basis. Some women don't know about it. Some women don't even know about it, especially from. They might even not know that they can stimulate the clitoris and get an orgasm. And even if they do know, it's hard for a woman to open up and tell the husband that she wants him to do that for her. So when it says Yitzra B'Fnim, I think it refers to not just the physical position of the clitoris being inside the vulva, but also top of the vulva, but also her Yetzer Hara, her orgasm is inside the body, right? A man's orgasm is manifested by the semen coming out, but a woman, his orgasm is from inside. So because they're different, right? Just like her physical characteristics, the clitoris, the orgasm are inside, so therefore you need to awaken her emotional side, and therefore you have to do piyas, which just basically means foreplay, and therefore it's just acknowledging that there's an emotional aspect. Men value the physical aspect of intimacy, and the women value more the emotional aspect. Of course, they enjoy the physical aspect, and both go hand in hand, but the primary aspect of intimacy for a woman is the emotional, the love, feeling of love, and for the man, it's the physical enjoyment. The third difference and the fourth difference are really saying the same thing. I don't think he's saying anything new over here. Again, he's saying that for a woman, it's important to have emotional. Woman's reality is exactly the opposite. Initially, her emotional connection needs to be awakened. Only then it will be followed by the physical connection. For her, the physical union isn't even expressed as an independent entity. It blends into the emotional connection until they are one. In fact, the natural state of a woman will simply not allow her to awaken the physical desire without any emotional connection. This is true. And a woman, if she doesn't feel loved, she's not going to enjoy the physicality either. It has to come from love. From the man, it doesn't have to. It's usually, like you said, it's really the opposite, right? The man is attracted to the woman and wants to do whatever he wants physically. He wants it to be over in 5 minutes and, enjoy the end, which is the culmination for the man. That's the main part for the man. But, of course, once you have the physicality, it's called making love. It does engender in the man a feeling of love towards the woman. And the woman's the opposite. She needs the caressing. She needs the foreplay before to have the emotional feeling of love, the hugging, the kissing, the caressing. And then, right, she'll enjoy the physical also. So they are the opposite in that way. But like there's been movies about this. Seinfeld had an episode about this, right? Friends with Benefits was a movie. People just wanted to see the movie. But I know what went on, but um, this is a concept that people, in the secular world, they just want to have casual sex. They want to be together, and just for the fun of it, right? Without any emotional attachment, the strings of attachment. You have to be in a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe even getting married. Most men don't want to get married so early. They just want to enjoy themselves. And a lot of women nowadays also just have casual be together for no emotional connections. But that's the reality. The reality is, from all these shows and movies, it's evident that it's impossible, because even though the man wants it for the physicality, it'll bring love. And even if the woman is willing, she just wants it for the physicality also, the physical enjoyment also, it's going to bring love. Usually, I want it's the opposite, right? It'll stimulate love, and the physical will, strengthen that love. But it's called making love, and it'll always bring to love, and it'll always be an emotional attachment with this action, because that's what it is. The whole point is to bring to the highest love between a man and a woman. This is the ultimate way to bring the man a woman, not just getting them presents and chocolates and flowers. If you really want the woman to love you, you should get chocolates and you should get flowers on a regular basis. These are things that people should be careful about, and I would recommend not getting flowers for Shabbos, because a lot of times women associate the flowers that you're getting for Shabbos sometimes from people actually do it for Shabbos. The real intention is to do it for Shabbos, not for their wife. I would recommend getting flowers on a Thursday, on a Wednesday, on a Sunday. Chocolates and flowers are always a nice thing to give to a woman. You don't know, you can't feel, a man can never feel this, but when flowers to a woman means so much. We know the story from the Torah where the dudaim, the flowers that 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 Ruvain got for her mother Leah, and Rachel wanted the flowers so much. It means so much to a woman. Chocolates, flowers, uh, you know, and from world, when you have a mikveh night, right? A woman is a nida for a certain amount of time, and she'll go to the mikveh. A woman expects that the man not just be present. He has to prepare the room in a nice way. He should have chocolates. He should maybe have flowers every time, but at least in the beginning of the marriage, it's important to treat her with. Men don't know this, but you really should buy chocolates, like nice chocolates for your wife when she comes from the mikvah, to enjoy together with her, to show that it's special. She wants to feel special, that you're waiting for this. And even when you're married 10 years, it really is important to do this. To always constantly show the woman that you love her, that you have feelings for her, because that's the most important thing for a woman, is the feeling of love. The man is the physical aspect that I mentioned. The fourth difference, he says, is that for the man, it's basically over once it's over. For the woman, it's never over. Um, the whole marriage is about feeling love. So I don't know exactly what he means over here. I don't know. I don't. It sounds like he means that even after the culmination of being together is over, meaning when penetration and the man lets out the semen into the woman, it's over for the man, but not over for the woman. Maybe he means that um, providing an orgasm for the woman after it's over. I think that is something. Uh, Maybe that's what he means over here. That you should do that afterwards. Um, we'll talk more about this, but I think the orgasm is essential for a good marriage. A wife will not even know why she's perturbed at her husband on a constant basis when she doesn't get this. She doesn't get this because it's a need for a woman, just like a physical man physically needs it. Imagine he would get worked up, but he wouldn't be able to finish inside the woman. A woman who doesn't get this feels like she's missing something. She's missing enjoyment, and the enjoyment from a woman's orgasm is like 9-to-1 ratio. That I've heard they enjoy it so much more than a man. It's not fair. The woman, they get it's such enjoyment. I wish I could experience what a woman experiences, but it's an incredible experience for a women, and women who don't get that. And I would say at least 50% um, in the Haredi world don't get that, especially in the Hasidic world probably don't get that. It's a terrible thing, and maybe that's what he means after it's over. Every couple has to talk together when the right time to do the orgasm for the woman. Some women, maybe you'll do it before the man actually penetrates the woman. Some women, you want to do it afterwards. You have to do what works for you, what's best for you. Some women, uh, after you do the orgasm for the woman, they'll feel very tired, and they're not going to want to participate in the rest for the man. So maybe it makes sense to do it afterward. Some women won't feel that way. They really enjoy the act of conjugal act of the man entering the woman. So they would want to do it maybe first, lead them up, warm them up, you know, have the foreplay, then provide the orgasm, and then penetration. That's the culmination. If that's the culmination, that's it. You know, I heard from my rebbeim that after the culmination for the man, he shouldn't get up for 5 minutes. I don't know what that's based on. I don't think I don't think you should just jump up. I don't think any man would want to jump up, but I don't think there's a problem. After a minute or two, it's over. It's over. I mean, it's over. But what I do think is true is that a woman always needs the love. She always needs to feel love. I mentioned buying chocolates, buying flowers, especially for the mikvah night. And this I want to talk about a lot in this book because it's really important. A husband should know his wife expects and wants to get hugged and kissed, not just in the bedroom, during the day. Anytime they're in private, you're not going to do this in front of other people. When you're in private, just go over to your wife and give a hug. You don't know what a hug to your wife does. Not that you're going to be together now, but just to give a hug. You don't know the power of a hug to give to a woman is indescribable for a woman. It makes her feel loved to give her a kiss, a hug. If you're the type of person who's very comfortable around women and touching your wife and things like that, you can do things that are more suggestive and things touch different areas of the body that may excite the woman more. But just basically to give her a kiss and a hug, it's indescribable what that does for the wife. I think you should give it. Now, husbands can't feel it. They can't feel what the woman needs because men don't need the love, and they want to be liked and respected, but they don't need the feeling of love so much. Of course, it's nice thing to be in a loving relationship, but it's not as integral to a man as it is to a woman. So you gotta show that love to her and show her the love by kissing her, hugging her at least twice a day if you can. We're all human beings. Most men forget how to do this, won't go do it for a week or two. But if you could do it and you can remember that, it'll make you the best husband in the world. Even if you're not the best performer in the bedroom, if you can do that, constantly show her your love, like physical contact. That's very important. Physical contact, kiss her, to hug her, and we'll talk more about joking around, not just in the bedroom, but joking around and having a non-awkward relationship with your wife is so important. That she'll like you also. If you have an awkward relationship, it's a very common thing in ultra orthodox circles because men and women don't talk to each other until they're after marriage and barely talk to each other during the dating and during the engagement period, especially about personal things. So they're like strangers that meet each other, and it's a very awkward situation. Even if you're a type of person, a man who's not, you have introverts are always awkward. Even if you're the man that's not an introverted person, and with your friends, your buddies, it's different with women, right? It's different. You can be non-awkward among men, but be very awkward among women. Most men are extremely awkward around women. Even if she's your wife, you might be awkward for a while. Eventually, hopefully, after a couple months, you won't be awkward anymore. But the less awkward you are, the more comfortable you are. There should always be a closeness. There should always be levity in the house. There should always be joking around the house. Should always be in a good mood in the house. You shouldn't have, the Gemara says, you shouldn't have fear in the house. Ema, the terrible thing, it ruins the wife. And a lot of people are very strict in halacha have this problem because when you're constantly talking about halacha and the stringencies you have to apply, whether they actually have merit or not merit, usually they don't have merit. If you ask a Rav, he would tell it, don't be so machmir on this. Unfortunately, people don't ask rabbis about these things because the proclivity in the world, the ultra-Orthodox, is to be different than the rest of the world. And part of being different is to accept as many chumras upon yourself as possible. So it's unfortunate. People should be asking a competent authority, can I be makel on this? And a lot of Rabbanim will actually be very makel. I've heard Rabbanim are very machmir in other aspects of halacha. When it comes to a husband and wife, they're much more makel. And the reason they're more makel is because it's needed. It's essential for the marriage. Any marriage, the halachas are talked about too much, especially in the bedroom, it ruins the marriage because it takes away the levity. It takes away It makes it awkward, it makes it uncomfortable, and it makes the woman fearful, and you'll never enjoy it like that. And if there's no enjoyment emotionally and physically, your marriage is doomed. Not just your bedroom, but the bedroom is the marriage. And if your bedroom is doomed, the marriage is doomed. That's what I have to say about this chapter called The Secret of Success. Stay tuned for later in the week. We'll start chapter 8 called The Responsibility of Intimacy. Hope you enjoyed today's lecture. See you in the next one.